welcome to the Playboy Nemesis YouTube channel, PBN for short. On this channel, we try to talk about all things that have to do with relationships, the do's, the don'ts, the maybes, whether you are in a relationship, a single person, or you're somewhere in between, wherever it is, or Playboy Nemesis is trying to enlighten and maybe with a bit more fun and creativity shed light on how people approach relationships differently and perhaps help you, if you find us helpful, help you navigate that particular world. We're looking at it from both the worldly view as well as the godly view. And welcome again. And with me tonight is our favorite person who will be featuring quite a lot on this channel. And my name is Chidsta.
And my name is Shay.
And once again, welcome to Playboy Nemesis.
Welcome once again. And like she said, we've got a lot of things coming your way. Today, the topic we'll be discussing is something we have had to discuss in the past week. And I thought we should talk about it because it's something we find very, very intriguing. And it's something we find very, very shocking. However, in as much as we might find it that one way or the other, it's happened to some of us. It has happened to some of us. It's still going to happen to some of us. It happened to some people in the past. It's happening to some people right now. And it's still going to happen to a few more people in the nearest future to come. And it is going to be, we'll be talking about African men, precisely Nigerian men, who with their spouse, there is this thing in Nigeria that is called Japa. I'm sure we've all heard about it. So people Japa in from Nigeria, then they Japa to Canada, they probably Japa to US, or they probably Japa to the UK. Wherever you've Japaed to, or wherever you are planning to Japa to, there is this Japa in that they Japa with their spouse
and children.
However, what then looms around is the fact that it could be the husband who is gone to the UK or who is gone to the abroad, as it were, or it could be the wife, both of them in the Western country, and one person has decided that it's no longer for him or it's no longer for her. We've got a short story we bumped on the internet a couple of days ago, and I think she will be reading it and we will just discuss it. We'll give our personal opinions. That doesn't mean it's the best opinion out there. It doesn't mean it's going to make up your own opinion. You have the right to do what you want to do, but we'll be sharing with you from our personal experiences on how we've been affected by this in the past and how some people are still being affected by it, so that we can all be well informed. And in terms of wanting to take a decision, we can probably give our own opinion. Maybe it might help you take a well-informed opinion or influence your decision. Do you want to read it to us?
Yeah, sure. So we came across this post on the Insta blog, the Instagram world, the Twitter world. And someone basically wrote, before you relocate, read this. Before you decide to relocate to the UK, do not only think of the money you will make or the qualifications you will get. Think also of whether your marriage will survive and whether your children will not be taken away by the social services, or whether the children will not be turned against you. I am dealing with a lot of sad cases at the moment, and let me tell you one. A man brought his wife and 3 children to the UK as dependents. The wife got here and became very uncooperative. She became very unruly, hid her money, and called the police on her husband. The husband was shocked when he got to the police station, and the police told him that his wife said he had been raping and abusing her for 12 years.
So that 12 years spans back to while they were in Nigeria.
Yes,
All right.
absolutely. The husband, who is a professional, cried throughout the time he was in the police custody, to the extent that a senior police officer became interested in the case. He decided to take over and investigate the case. He took the wife's mobile phone and discovered that people, external people, had been texting the wife about what to say to the police to get the right to live in the UK with her children without her husband and put the man in trouble. Long story short, she has just been arrested and is in the police custody. So don't just japa because others are traveling out. Think of the state of your own family. Think of the wife or husband you are married to. Think of what they are capable of doing. Think of what they're capable of if they get into the Western world. This applies to men and women. A lot of you that are losing your family are copycats. You did not think of the situation before you jumped into it. Are you sure you are ready for it? So, it's a heavy one.
Yeah, because the truth is this, yeah. I think the Western world, whether we want to admit it or not, especially places like the UK, Canada, US, I think women own it.
Women own it. You mean
Yeah.
in what way?
I mean, like, all right, so I'm going to give this example. Basically, when there is a fight or when there is a misunderstanding between a couple and the police is involved, whether you like it or not, at that moment, in order to ensure that there is peace in between them, the first person or the one person that gets kicked out of the house is the man. It is the man who bears the brunt. He gets kicked out, he's got nothing, and he gets thrown into the streets.
Yeah.
So most times, I think women, knowing this, they take the opportunity to ensure that, knowing fully well that when the police is involved, the first person that gets kicked out is the man or the husband. They tend to take opportunity, and anytime they lie, anytime to do whatever they want to do in order to get papers or get settled or get some monies that the government pay, it's one of the things that they go into doing because they know the man is affected.
Yeah, I get that. I get that some women. This is the sad part of it, in my opinion, that the women that are taking advantage of the setup of the UK system in terms of the Western world system, in terms of like protecting vulnerable women and men, because that system is there to protect men as well.
Yeah, but most time the system does not protect men.
Yes, I understand that, but then again, it has to do with social bias and the consciousness.
Yeah, well, that's a big
That's a
topic for
different
another
topic.
day.
But the system is there to protect the vulnerable, male or female. Yes, there is the whole social bias where men are probably not seen as more vulnerable, but let's leave that aside. The only thing for me that really annoys me when I hear stories about this, like this, is that this woman has basically cried wolf, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
She's
Absolutely.
cried wolf that her husband has been abusing her for 12 years, which is prior to them coming to the UK. Another woman whose husband is actually doing that will now be viewed, potentially viewed, in a less favorable way because of this woman's behavior.
Definitely.
So people like that completely agree they need to be put in custody. I'm glad that the senior investigating officer actually did notice.
Yeah, but it was good in this case that the guy was, there was a police officer who took our time to investigate and they found this woman guilty. But in some cases, it's usually not the case. It's the man who goes and it is the man who gets punished at the end of the day. Because it's quite shocking to find out that, when you read this story, you'll be like, you've been with this man for 12 years.
12 years. So why did you come to the UK if he has been abusing you for 12 years?
If he was abusing you, why didn't you report to authorities in Nigeria? Do you get my point?
Story. In Nigeria,
I think here, I do not know what happened on the side of the woman, neither do I know what happened on the side of the man. But according to according to the blogs where we've picked that from, we could tell that the man was innocent,
Mm-hmm.
and at the end of the day, the woman got what she
Her
deserved.
comeuppance.
What did you say?
She got her comeuppance.
Well, she got what she deserved. So I believe that it was investigated and she was at fault. So that then tells me that, or that makes me believe that back in Nigeria, the man hadn't done anything like that.
No,
So
he
it
didn't.
was all made up
Yeah.
so as she's seen in a favor, in order to manipulate the system
Yeah.
so that she could get what she wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is something that has to do with, personally, from my point of view, I would say men, in my own opinion, I'm not advising anyone, but I would say men, it all depends on whether we want to admit it or not. We know who we are married to.
Yeah, you need to know.
And like, there are so many pastors, so many preachers, so many people who talk about relationships, the fundamentals of relationship. Make sure that you are marrying your friends and stuff like that. I think these things can never be overemphasized, because how could you? I mean, it's shocking that you are with somebody for 12 years only to get to the UK.
No, that 12 years, that means the man doesn't actually know his wife.
Yeah, the man didn't actually know the wife.
Or what she was capable of doing.
Exactly.
And also, who is she hanging out with that is advising her like this? Is another thing.
And honestly, it's a world that we just really cannot explore the possibility of what could have happened to that woman. Also, I think manipulating the system is part of it in order for their own selfish gains. And I also think immigration has a lot to play when it comes to this as well. Because at the end of the day, if a woman, from my own experience, I've had to deal with one immigration here and the other, I believe that, or I've heard stories, and I've heard stories as well, I believe that when it comes to manipulating the system as well, from the eye of immigration, it favors the women as well, especially when they are with children. Do you get my point? Basically, like, you've come across like, oh, my husband is abusive, is emotionally abusive, is a cheat, is that, and the relationship breaks down without amends. Basically, depending on who is on whose visa, let's say, for instance, now, the woman is the main applicant and the man is, what's it called now? Is the dependent.
Yeah.
The moment a woman thinks about that and he reports the man, from the little that I know about immigration, the man's visa is curtailed. They probably give him 28 days or 90 days or thereabout and tell him within these 90 days, find another route to jump on. If you can't find another route to jump on and reapply, be back to your country. And the woman is seen as a single mom, trying to raise one child, 2 children, and thereabout. Whether you like it or not, from the point of the woman being vulnerable with children, the system starts supporting the woman.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, when she finds herself in a place whereby her immigration, I mean, she's out of immigration, or her paper is due, or her paper is expired, there's thousands of charity organizations that then step in to help vulnerable women that are in this position, and thereby they end up getting their papers as well and they stay. But the question is, but the major thing is that it's usually at the detriment of the man that they came with, the man they claim they love, the man that you had been with for 12 years.
Yeah, that's what actually brought to my memory about another story about a woman who was the main applicant.
Yeah.
The husband was the dependent.
Yeah.
She got here. They were living in the same house, but then she now started a relationship with someone else.
But the woman started a relationship. Wow.
Yeah, started a relationship with someone else, and basically said she wasn't doing marriage anymore with her husband or her dependent partner, whoever it was, and basically reported it to the Home Office that she wants a divorce. And Home Office basically rescinded the guy's stay and gave him, I think it was 90 days.
Yeah, I think it's usually 90 days.
Yeah, it was 90 days. So wrote me a letter like he's got 90 days to leave the country. And I was kind of like, how is that? Firstly, how is that possible? Because at the end of the day, are still married. They haven't divorced.
All right. So
I don't know the ins and outs of the immigration.
Yeah. So whether you like it or not, the moment she writes the Home Office, okay, for instance, now let's say you are British, or my wife is British and I'm a dependent, or she sponsored my visa,
Mm-hmm.
the moment she calls the Home Office to report to them that our relationship is broken down, provided that she's the British, I'm the dependent,
Dependent.
my visa gets curtailed, my visa is called off immediately. I'll be given 90 days. I think it's about 90 days. It's between 28 days to 90 days. Viewers at home, I might be wrong on this, but if I'm wrong, please let me know in the comment section.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's about 90 days. They give the guy or whoever is affected 90 days and they ask them to return to their country. I mean, jump on another route if
Mm-hmm.
you can, or be back to where you're from. 90 days. For those that live abroad, 90 days is such a short time for you to find another route. I think it's just wickedness.
She's just wicked.
Yeah, I think it's just wickedness. And I'm going to say this as well. I was in that shoes as well 18 years ago, where the woman I came with back from Nigeria into this Obodonyibo, as it were, left me 3 months in the UK. And it was under the umbrella that I wasn't ready to get married and she was ready to get married. The notion when we left Nigeria, or the motive while we left Nigeria, was to come to the UK and study.
Mm-hmm.
So get the master's degree,
yeah.
and get back to Nigeria and get married. We never had intention of staying back into the UK. But 3 months in, she said she wasn't interested again. She said I wasn't ready to get married and stuff like that. So, I mean, she must have her reasons. I'm not saying her reasons or the reason behind it was immigration, but then that was how that relationship broke down, and that was it. It ended there. But it was all in the UK. Prior to that time, we had been together for 3 years or 4 years or thereabout. I think 3 years. And I mean, I could have trusted her with my life. I mean, I trusted her with my life and I could have done anything for her, but everything went like that. So, I mean, there are so many vices, so many things that could.
I kind of feel like unfortunately, I have to say this about women, when they leave or japa from Nigeria or any other country that they're coming from, and they come to the Western world, I think there is a kind of unveiling, like they kind of see the world a little bit different.
Okay.
And unfortunately, in this day and age with the internet and the way people paint their lives and everyone is glitz and glam, even if it's not real.
Yeah.
They basically are now out to, I guess, gain security. You have to also remember that women are programmed for security, financial security.
But then if
emotional
you're with,
security.
Yeah, absolutely. But it doesn't make any sense that you've been with this guy for 12 years.
I completely
Do you
understand.
want to tell me you were not secured?
She, in her mind, in terms of getting security for herself and her children in the longer term, I don't know the state of his visa.
Yeah.
It could have been a 3-year one. It could have been a 5-year one. For she could have been playing a long game in her head. It's come into the country, leave him, find someone else that's probably a British citizen, get with that person, secure her stay in the country. That is literally what she's thinking. She's not thinking about whether she's been with him for 12 years.
Yeah, but I agree to that, but that's wickedness.
I understand that.
So, and but that's selfish as well.
I understand that, but you also have to remember that fundamentally, and I'm not excusing what she's done, fundamentally, women seek security.
All right, I agree with you, but what form of security are you seeking with this guy that he didn't offer you back in Nigeria, and all of a sudden, after 12 years, after you've both invested 12 years of your life, I'm sure back in Nigeria, while they were thinking of coming here, they must have sold. I mean, we all know all the stories behind Japa. They must have sold probably 3 plots of land that they've got somewhere. They must have sold their properties. They must have sold. I mean, they must have borrowed money here and there, knowing fully well that they are coming into a place where nothing is secured. You're coming to, oh my Jesus. I remember when I first came in as well, I had to do a lot of odd jobs as a single guy. And that's going to take me to that's going to take me to this point. As a guy, if you have in your plan to Japa, please don't get married in Nigeria. Come over here and leave your woman back in Nigeria. From my own personal experience and from a few friends that I've spoken to, it would not work. We have thousands. I don't have facts or stats to show this, but we have millions of single girls out here that you probably get along with, and whether you like it or not, because you're coming from Nigeria for the first time, immigration will hook you. So one way or the other, if you are genuine, you might find a lady who is genuine as well that might probably want to help you as well. But imagine in the case whereby you've committed yourself to another lady in Nigeria, probably you are married to that
breaking
Nigeria.
someone else's heart.
You'll be breaking that girl's heart in Nigeria, or you'll probably be lying to the one in the UK. Then you find yourself in between two women, which I am not a party to. So I think if you have any idea, or if you're not in an idea of jackpotting one day, please, no relationships should happen in Nigeria, because I can guarantee that in the Western world there are fantastic women here that would listen to your story one way or the other and would be willing to help you out. So that takes me back to one thing that I think is happening at the moment. I think the way individuals, or the way people in the Western world in general, all right, so I've seen a nice car parked somewhere. I've just gone to the car. I've asked you to take a picture. I've asked a few of my friends to take a picture. The car probably does not belong to me.
Nope.
But because I've taken pictures with it, I've probably picked up my nice trainers, which I've bought on sales anyways. It could be 120, 150, and I've actually gone to buy it on sale for £30. Then you now think, oh my God, it's beautiful out there. These guys are fetching in the money. Oh boy, they work hard. I saw a video the other day, and guess what was in that video? So basically, this couple came from Nigeria as well, and obviously it was on internet. I wouldn't know how. I don't have anything negative to say about them. But what I saw was they actually took a picture when they saw. I mean, they made a video when they saw each other in traffic. So basically, the wife was returning from work.
Yes,
I don't know if you saw it as
that
well.
one.
So basically, the wife was
They don't
returning.
see each other.
They basically do not see each other. The wife was returning from work while the husband was going to night shift, and they met in traffic on the road and they took a picture. That is the practicality of what is happening in the UK. That is the practicality.
You have to be prepared.
You have to be prepared. The notion that, when I get to the UK, my dear,
just pick money from the tree.
There is no money on the tree. And that's when I think for some women and for some men, the reality kicks in.
That's what I mean by the woman coming here, realizing that it's not easy, and the life she was seeing for herself when she was leaving Nigeria, it's not happening. She's probably now working night. She's probably cleaning the train. I don't know what her story is.
And one thing I've noticed is this. If someone hasn't told you before, that I know it happens for some people. I've heard testimonies where the normal thing is, regardless of who you are, if you are not employed from where you are back in Nigeria, back in Africa, into the Western world, and you've sponsored yourself as a student, whatever, there might be one or two mountains there, here and there to climb. And when I mean mountains,
Everest.
Immigration is going to be there. If you are a student, you only have 20 hours to work while session is on. Off time, you can work as much as you want, plenty hours, kill yourself. No one is going to hold you back. But term time, you can only work 20 hours for those that will be anyways. That is going to hook you. Do you get?
Yeah.
And if you've come with your partner, if you've come with your spouse, she has to work.
If she doesn't used to work, that English is mistake. If she didn't used to work in Nigeria, and you brought her here, and you've come as a student, you're limited during term time
to 20 hours.
That means she now needs to work. What jobs can she get if she wasn't working in Nigeria?
Even if she's working in Nigeria, let's say for instance, you are on tier 4, limited to 20 hours. She has unlimited hours to work.
Yes.
She feel also as much as you go feel also. No. And even if she's
got the children.
And she's got children as well. Even if she can, how many hours can she work? She's probably, I'm not saying it would not happen. It could happen. But she's probably not going to get a job instantly, one. Or she's probably not going to get a professional job instantly.
Yeah, if she was a professional.
Mind you, the truth is, she might have to start one cleaning here and there, care job here and there. And she has to stay committed.
And reality will hit fast.
Because this country, if you no work, you no go job.
You won't eat.
The jobs are there, but if you don't go out there every now and then, for somebody who is just coming from wherever you've come in Africa, the reality will eat you. Money as it were, this money is not plucked on tree. You have to work hard for it. So I think back in Nigeria, they think the money is plucked on the tree.
That's because when people go home and visit,
you lavish
get to
money,
December, the money that they save throughout the whole year, they'll spend it all in 2 weeks in December, and then they'll come back here and start doing
the
12-hour shifts.
Yes,
12-hour shift. When they go to night, they'll be doing big boy. They're spending the money. People like, when you come to the UK, they'll go to the back of the house, pluck money from the tree. It's not like that.
I think we would just wrap this up now. And one thing I'm going to say, like I said, everything I've said is basically everything I have seen and I have experienced, and I know, I know them like I know my name, because I've seen them happen. If you're going to come from Nigeria as a single guy, if you are not married, you are better off coming into the UK or going to the Western world as a single person.
Yes.
Opportunities will present itself. You would find single eligible ladies
and men,
or women that will be willing to help, and men that will be willing to help, provided you are genuine and you come from, I would just say, provided you are genuine and they can guarantee that you are genuine with them. 2, if you have cold feet about who you want to get married to, my dear,
don't do it.
Don't do it. Because at the end of the day, I have a friend whose friend is in the UK, and very soon I would bring him on this show. His predicament is that while he was in Nigeria, I think he had been married, he is still married anyways to his wife, and they have been together for about 6 years. Back in Nigeria, this girl has framed him up. He reported him almost every now and then, complaining about assault, blah, 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 here and there, police case. It's even got to the extent that they've been to court in Nigeria. In court in Nigeria, according to my friend, they had asked his wife what she wanted. Do you want to divorce this man, or you want to be separated from this man? And this lady came up to say, I want to be separated from this man. And they were apart for about 2 years. And after 2 years, in the course of the 2 years, this man was planning to come to the UK. This woman found out about the man coming into the UK, and she, I would say, manipulated herself back into his life.
And he allowed her back in.
Not necessarily, but they came back together, and 6 months into them being back together, this man didn't announce. He flew into the UK and he abandoned her. And now he is thinking of bringing that same woman into the UK. If you're watching this show,
after she's framed him several times,
she had framed him several times in Nigeria. And that's to say, in a system where no human being is above anybody. It's a parallel, apart from cheat, bribery and corruption, we be leveler. Big person and not big person, well, when it comes to money. But then what I'm saying is that it's not like, we don't even have a system where a woman can manipulate. If as a woman, if you go to court or if you go to police station to report your husband, they'll probably send you back home. They probably would not listen to you.
The man has more power.
The man has
it's a more patriarchal.
Exactly. So in that situation, this woman has still managed to report you like 4, 5, 6 times.
And you've gone to court.
To the extent that you've been to court. He's been locked up 2 times at the police station, that he slept there like 2 nights or 3 nights or more than that. However, the moment the lady realized that this man was coming into the UK, she manipulated herself back to him. And now the guy is planning on bringing her into the UK. Knowing the system in Nigeria, I think I lived there for about 30 years or 25 years or thereabout. Knowing the system in Nigeria, it hasn't really changed. I think it's gone worse. And knowing the system in here that I've been in for about 15 years, guy, you go suffer. Because the moment she steps in here, if she did all of that to you in Nigeria,
you're screwed.
You are screwed. It's going to continue. So if you're watching this, or if by chance you are watching this, my advice is please don't. She will mess up your life.
And she will mess it up so well that prison bars are waiting for you.
Exactly.
Be careful.
Exactly. So these are some of the things these are some of the reasons, or these are some of the things that I think men should be aware of You're better off as a single guy when you come into the UK. However, I must say the system in the UK is not made for one person. It is made for two good heads, just like relationship or marriages are made for two good heads who are willing to put in the effort and who are willing to put in everything. You just
Yeah.
need to sell yourself
Just
into it.
choose to
That,
be in that
and
relationship.
also
Choose each other.
you need to be selfless.
Yeah.
I think you need to be selfless. These days, a lot of people are not doing marriage or relationship as God is stipulated it for us. We tend to be selfish. We tend to think about ourselves alone, and that's one of the more reasons why when people get into the UK, at the tiniest difficulty, they just jump the ship. They just want to report the guy. You just want to destroy the career of somebody else. You just want to finish the life of somebody else just for your own selfish gain. In my own opinion, you might get the immediate benefit, but what is the long-term gain for you? Nothing. Like this woman we've just read out, whose plan was to manipulate the system and get her husband kicked back to Nigeria. It boomeranged on her, and she's the one
in custody.
Think about it. Do you have anything to say?
No, just I'll just say, like, women, you unfortunately, this one does not sit well. It's not good. I say, if there's any woman out there that is listening to bad advice, they need to go and look at their social circle again. If you've been with your husband 12 years and you've come here and someone is telling you, you can stay here without your husband, what has he done to you to the extent that you are claiming that he's been abusing you for 12 years?
That's honestly,
it doesn't make sense to me.
The more we talk about it, the more I keep thinking,
she's wicked.
I don't know, she's
her
wicked.
friends are wicked.
Yeah. And do you know the funniest thing? These friends that she speaks to have probably done the same thing to their husbands, to someone else, and they've gotten away with it. They've gotten away with it,
Yeah.
And they do not have husbands. They do not have anything. They're probably single parents, tapping into the system or manipulating the system, and they are wishing bad for your relationship as well. They are wishing bad for your marriage as well. The question is, are you that heartless to listen to them and harm somebody else? It's your decision. Like I said, if you're going to come into the UK, think about it properly.
And choose the right partner.
Choose the right partner. The UK will present you with opportunity to work hard if you can. There are so many jobs out there, you would have to work. However, if you do not choose the right person, see, all those prayers that you are meant to be praying for yourself, you'll be praying for your partner. you know what I'm saying? All the prayers that you are meant to be praying for your wife, oh God, my wife is going to work today. Let her do well at work. God, protect her, give her the strength to go through. And she is also doing the prayers for you. If you choose wrongly, God, change her heart. Let her love me. That's the prayer you will be praying. But you can avoid that by choosing the right person, making sure that you are selfless as well, because I think that's very, very good. Don't be selfish. Unfortunately, in recent times, human beings, we've all
the selfish factors definitely ramped up a lot in humanity. Selfish.
And again, in Nigeria, we have opportunity, we have places. I mean, we have needs. We want a lot of things, but we can take it gradually, and we will get there. But in the UK, our needs are more pressuring. We have bills that we have to pay on a monthly basis. We have mortgages that we have to pay on a monthly basis. I mean, it's monthly.
It's monthly. It's monthly.
It's not in Nigeria where you pay your house rent
for a
year or 2 years in advance. To cap this all I'm going to say is, people, please, Biko, look after yourself.
And if you need more information in terms of relationships and godly relationships, do not shy away from looking through the Playboy Nemesis channel. There are lots of videos on there on what we see as good guidance to a more,
especially from reputable women and men of God as well. They've said a lot about relationships as well. You'll be hearing more from us on this channel as well. And all I'm going to say is that as time goes by, we'll bring in more topics, more friends to come on this, And trust me, we have a lot that we need to unbundle for you guys. If you need any guidance or advice in terms of little guidance here and there about immigration, about godly relationship, please
Hit us up.
Comments reach
below.
out, and we'll be glad to help in our own little way. Trust me, we'll be glad to help. At the end of the day, my dear, now God get power.
Yes, be praying.
Yeah, at the end of the day, God has all power and is the only one, the author and the finisher of our faith. Stay tuned and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.